What's up? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we got to do a review for the Oblivion remake, and I just want to give my honest opinions about it because I do have mixed thoughts. But before we get into the video, please make sure you hit that like button, please subscribe, cut on the notification bell so you can catch me and my co-host Panda and Lyric live every single Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern, where we bring you the latest news around gaming at the Aim Down Psych podcast. No matter the platform, we got you covered, whether you game on PC, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation. We talk about all three, all four, however you want to look at it. So please make sure you continue to rock out with us, man. YouTube is kind of like shadow banned us or something, man. Our views is extremely down, especially for reviews and stuff like this. So any like, any share, any comment goes a long way with helping with the algorithm. But with that being said, let's get into it. So if you know me, then you know I am a huge Bethesda fan. You can pretty much call me a Bethesda fanboy, if you will. Skyrim was actually the first RPG that really introduced me to the genre of what a Western RPG is. Skyrim will forever be one of my favorite games. I just think it's perfection. I love the world. You know, the feeling of always wanting to go to this location or that location and discover what's there. And, you know, I just remember spending so much time on my PS3, my Xbox 360 playing this game. Yes, I bought it twice. And it's funny because this was the first video game I bought for myself as a kid. My grandfather had a grass cutting business, so I got in on that with him around, like, I forget how old I was, maybe 11, 12. And yeah, so that was my first little job. And, you know, I saved up money. He said he'll take me to GameStop, trying to teach me a little bit of responsibility. Thank you, Granddad. I really appreciate that. And I got in there. I was looking at cases and stuff like that. I've never heard of Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls in my life at that point. I looked at the back of the case and I was immediately drawn in. I said, yo, this looks amazing. This looks dope. I ended up picking it up for the PS3. I took it home. I was absolutely loving it. And it's funny because this game is actually where my technical side come in. You know, before the Digital Foundry videos, we had articles back there. I think it was still from Eurogamer, if I'm not mistaken, that would compare the frames for the PS3 and the 360. So I eventually found out that some of my favorite games ran better on the opposite platforms, like GTA. I believe GTA 4 ran better on the PS3, and then Skyrim ran better on the Xbox 360. So I ended up saving up again, and I bought it for my Xbox 360 because we had both grown up. And man, it was just, like I said, one of my favorite games of all time. You know, as far as their latest work, I'm not the biggest fan of Fallout 4. I've been on record of saying that because, you know, I come from the Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 as my introductions to Fallout. So, you know, I kind of prefer those games more for multiple reasons. I do think Fallout 4 took a few steps in the right direction, especially with, you know, gameplay and just combat and, of course, graphics and stuff like that. Starfield was my game of the generation for up until probably like a year or two ago. I mean, you know, because we just keep getting great game after great game. But Starfield, to me, is one of my favorite games of all time. I got a poster of that I'm looking at right now behind my monitor and computer setup. So yeah, I absolutely love that game. And that was the first game I actually got paid from YouTube for doing reviews for. So Starfield will always be close and near and dear to my heart. And I know it's a flawed game. It has a lot of flaws, but, you know, to each their own. I enjoy the game. I like the universe. I'm the same guy that liked Mass Effect 1 over all the other in the trilogy because I like landing on those empty, barren planets and just letting my imagination take over, right? So with all that being said, just wanted to give a quick history about, you know, my background with Bethesda and the Elder Scrolls series. So, you know, when I seen Oblivion was getting remade, I was extremely happy, man. I was like, yo, this is awesome for me. This is going to be like my Elder Scrolls 6 until the Elder Scrolls 6 get here, because I never played Oblivion before, but I've always heard good things. I've heard good things about every Elder Scrolls game, but I've only played Skyrim up until this point. So, you know, I jumped into this game extremely excited, extremely happy. And I will say, on the graphical side, this game is absolutely beautiful, but it's also really, really flawed to really a sad degree. I'm gonna be honest, right? Because the thing that made Skyrim so special to me, and I'm sorry guys if you hear some sniffing, I got the flu, my daughter got it, I'm trying to get over it, still trying to, you know, push this content out, so work with me. But, you know, the thing about Skyrim that was so special to me was just simply just walking around, hopping on my horse, exploring, and coming up against new locations. I'm gonna be honest, in Oblivion remake / remaster, whatever they want to call it, I could not do that. The performance in this game is absolutely embarrassing, in my humble opinion. No matter if you're playing on the Series X, the PS5 Pro, which was where I was playing, and I tried it on my Series X as well, still has stutters. And this is from a guy that comes from loving Skyrim on the PS3 and 360. We all know that those games is running at like what, 20 to 25 frames per second, 90% of the time. But I feel like it's a difference between frame drops and just stutters throughout games. You know what I'm saying? It's different from being like, oh yeah, it's hectic on screen, the FPS is dropping, versus just slowly walking around or just riding in the open world and just getting all these deep stutters. You know, that's very annoying, man. It does the game a disservice because it takes away that need to explore for people like me. I like discovering things on my own. So with that being said, I had to reapproach how I play the game, because I'm gonna be honest, these stutters and frame rate issues was definitely mind-boggling. I got a few friends who just could not play the game anymore. It was giving them a headache, giving them like some kind of emotion bothering them. So and I completely understand, because I've had it happen to me a little bit too. So I ended up countering this because I just said, you know what, I'm gonna just fast travel everywhere. So with that being said, I want to talk about each of the factions and how they compare to Skyrim, in my opinion, what I like about them, what I didn't like about them, where I feel like Skyrim is better and where I feel like Oblivion is better in some places. So it's only right I start with my favorite quest line, and that is the Thieves Guild. I love the Thieves Guild quest line in Skyrim. It was my favorite pretty much in the game, that and the Dark Brotherhood. They're all peak in my opinion. I feel like the Thieves Guild in this game was pretty good. I do like the fact that you actually have to go be a thief and heist and sell enough things to even get to progress the storyline. So I felt like that was really dope. The Gray Fox and his story and everything like that, I felt like that was really dope as well. I just felt like this was one of the better side stories in the game. I really enjoyed that. The Dark Brotherhood is probably my second favorite. It was sweet and to the point, and it's just so refreshing that, hey, you gotta go kill this guy, but you gotta do it this specific way. And then if you don't do it that specific way, but you still kill him, guess what? You still pass the contract. You just don't get your bonus. That's always been one of my favorite things about the Dark Brotherhood. They push you to do things a certain way, but even if you don't, man, they like, hey, hell, shit, Sithis, praise the Sithis. You still killed who we wanted you to kill. The Dark Mother is happy. So I enjoyed the Dark Brotherhood, and it definitely had a little twist, you know, in it. So I really enjoyed that. Now the Arena and the Fighters Guild thing, I didn't really care too much about, because, you know, the combat in these Elder Scroll games are not the best. Even in this game, it's just not aging the best. And that's, I guess, is what I would like to see the most from Elder Scrolls 6, is like just a really improved and revamped combat, especially when you got games like Avowed, you know, stepping it up in the hand-to-hand combat situations for that atmosphere and for that, you know, what do you call it, high fantasy, that's just that era, you know what I'm saying, that type of fantasy RPG that, you know, Skyrim and games like Avowed kind of chase after. You know, I feel like Avowed just done that a lot better. But, you know, I did enjoy the Mage Guild. I think it was really dope going through that, and, you know, finding out why the Mage Guild came to an end, and why you don't really hear them mentioned too much in Skyrim, especially with the College of Winterhold, from what I remember. And yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm missing any other ones, man. You got the Fighters Guild, you got the Mage, you got the Arena. I touched on the Thieves Guild and the Brotherhood. I believe that's all of them. So next we want to talk about the main story, and I will say I think the main story was a bit more intriguing than the main story in Skyrim. But that's kind of hard to say, because in Skyrim I just never felt the need to do the main story, because the game just has so many dope side stories and content and quest lines that, you know, it took me forever to go up to those mountains and meet the Greybeards back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It took a very long time, and that's just a reflection of how great that world is and the world building to make you want to go explore and go off the beaten path. Like I said, I didn't find that in Oblivion because I just couldn't do it due to the performance. And this isn't just a console problem. Even on PC, this game stutters like hell, man. One of the worst PC ports I've seen out here, according to Digital Foundry. So, yeah, man, it's a flawed masterpiece, man. I did enjoy it. I got the platinum for it, so I 100%ed the game. Did everything in it. Still got to finish some DLC missions, but I'm a fan of the game. I think Oblivion is a really great game. I'm happy I got to play it, especially coming from being a Skyrim fanboy. The setting itself, I think it was really dope. I like being in the Citadel. I thought it was pretty. A lot of the cities have a unique feel and a unique atmosphere to it. Like I said, it's just hard to take in the beauty and just take in the interactivity of the world with, you know, so many stutters being prevalent, guys. And I don't mean to just keep harping on this, but it's just sad because this game is like, wow, it's a masterpiece, you know, and it's a really beautiful game at that too. And Virtuous, the studio who done this, it's kind of like they've given up on this. I don't know when the last time Oblivion Remastered have gotten a patch or has gotten an update, and it's kind of sad. If this is going to be the state of the game going forward, in my opinion, you should have just not have released it. You should have just left it alone. But I do appreciate them bringing it up to date. I just wish they would have took a little more time to polish it. I ended up playing the Khajiit because the Khajiit is my favorite race in Skyrim. I love being a thief. So, of course, my birth sign was the thief. My class was the thief. I just had a good time with it, man. I like the magic. I like everything in it. You know, it's Elder Scrolls. You know, if you love Skyrim, you're probably going to like this a lot. Now, I did enjoy Oblivion, but I didn't love it. Like I said, you know, the fact that I couldn't really have that exploration like I wanted to takes a lot away from me. You know, just not being able to just roam the open world because those stutters are so prevalent just is a real buzzkill. So like I said, I countered that problem by just fast traveling everywhere. Thankfully, to these new consoles and these SSDs, fast traveling is really quick. You know, you still get the loading screen everywhere, whether you enter in the building or exit in the building. So nothing has changed on that front, sadly. But, you know, I think it's a really dope game, man. I think it's beautiful. Just small details in the game, like, you know, the random NPCs walking up, having random conversations. I was always finding myself eavesdropping on those in those situations. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed my time with Oblivion. 60 hours in, I got the platinum on PlayStation for it. We'll probably do another playthrough on my Series X as well whenever I decide to resub the Game Pass. I really enjoyed it, man. It's been your boy NextGenNero, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Did you guys enjoy the Oblivion remake, or was you one of those people that just couldn't get through it because of the poor performance? Please let me know. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.